and welcome to the Rag Company podcast. This is a Detalkscast, which means we've got a guest. Today's guest, Justin Pate of the Rap Institute. Justin, say hi.
Hi, everyone.
Nice
What's
to have
up,
you here.
bud?
Lovely to have you here. And of course, as usual, we have our crew, Levi, Morgan, Anthony, all here. Say hi, guys.
What's up,
Hello.
you guys? What's up?
And today we're going to be talking about vinyl wraps, perhaps. I mean, I see Levi's got one right behind his head there.
Nice.
Yeah, well, so I did just a phone call last week with Justin, and we were chatting about stuff. And for those of you that haven't been following maybe Justin's Instagram page or the Rap Institute page, he's been doing a lot of live videos with really great ideas, some things for those of you that, because just like in the detail industry, there are some shops that are deemed essential, some that are non-essential all over the world. There are detailers and wrappers that are working, others that are not, and they are staying home, or they're, in a weird where they're doing projects still, but not dealing with any of the customers or public or anything like that. So it's kind of been a weird, fun time where for some guys it's a lot of fun, and other people they're really stressed out. And so it's neat to see, Justin is arguably one of the leaders of the rap industry, and he's been doing a really good job at helping provide a lot of information for a lot of those shops and installers out there that are having to figure stuff out, whether that's business advice, whether that's what they can do for their employees, what they can do for their customers. So anyway, that was one of the things I saw, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is really good information, especially right now, that not only because of the pandemic, but also because of it's just good knowledge to have if you are maybe you've added wrap stuff to your services, or you're a rapper and you're adding detail services to your projects. But Justin's been doing a lot, which is nice. And some of the fun ones are just wrapping fun stuff at home. You did a coffee mug. You did the coffee maker. There's a lot of fun.
Oh, no, it
it
vanished.
disappeared.
Okay, there you go.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the coffee maker is pretty dope. I was pretty proud of that one.
Yeah, it looked pretty awesome. So, but yeah, Justin, I don't know if you wanted to give a little spiel about what you've been up to, and then you did a live the other day too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's been, it's been an interesting time for, I think, everyone in the world. So it's just been, I think someone put it, the first time was like the first week of like sheltering in place, because I live in Amsterdam. So pretty strict sheltering in place rules. First week was like, yay. And then the second week was like, yeah. And the third week, and then the fourth week is like this. So it's been, we have a daughter. She's 12 years old, and she's, again, same thing. It's been an interesting just ride for everyone emotionally, I think financially, all that kind of stuff. Outlook is like you have no clue what's up or down. So it's been really nice, I think, in my position over the years of being in the Rap Institute, to go out and do these videos and come out with different angles of different ideas of how you can make money and just process. I actually have a video going up right now for Avery Dennison that launched at noon. And I talk about passion and why that's really important to cultivate and maintain within your business. And I think you guys do a great job of that with the Rag Company, of just everyone's super passionate, you're on board, you're dialed in. And I think that's critical right now as a company, to not lose that passion. And if you have lost that passion, how to get it back and grow from that.
Yeah, and that's,
absolutely.
For us, it's been, thankfully people are, because they're home, they're buying products. And everybody's kind of looking at what they can do now that maybe they're done with their Zoom meetings and they're done with, some of the stuff, or what they can do, because maybe they're getting on the honeydew list, or looking at what they need to do. Maybe they finally have time. They're like, man, I can actually do something. So for us, a lot of it's been detailing cars. Folks have been buying, whether it's one drying towel, and it's the first time they've ever bought a drying towel because maybe they've washed their car for the 6 times this week, and they're like, man, I really just need a good towel. Like maybe they're using a chamois or a bath towel. Or we're getting orders for gallons of product and stacks of towels from one person who's just like, I'm taking this time, I'm doing all my cars and really going to it. So
Interesting.
For us, we've been very blessed in that situation because we are all still technically employed, which is nice.
Yeah.
But we've also had to deal with the fact that we're a company with 30 employees. And how do we, some of us like Dane, Anthony, myself, Morgan, we all are able to technically do our jobs from home. So a lot of us upstairs folks, the folks that, basically have an office space, we've been all asked to work from home. So we're hanging out, working kind of 50-50, spending the mornings at home doing what we need to do and then going in back in, because we do have, like I said, I sent you some videos last week, a new studio that we're working on.
Yeah.
So we've been able to take this time to actively just work on that studio. And so Anthony and I have been in a lot almost every day, just doing stuff, because it's like, it's like a big move. It's a lot of unpacking. It's a lot of organizing. We've got a lot of just little, like today we're going in, we've got a scissor lift we have to install, and then we've got flooring coming, we've got airlines coming, we've got a lot of different stuff. So for us, it's kind of given us a bit of an escape, because it can be just Anthony and I in that 5,000 square foot building for an entire day, or it can be just, one of us there or whatever,
Sure.
But also it's given the rest of the building enough space, because 15 of us are arguably at home. We've been able to spread all the packers and folks that are, the boots on the ground, the folks in the trenches that are actually producing and putting these orders together, are able to continue to work. So, and Dane's parents, who own the rag company, have been very, one of their first things when all this happened was, we're not planning on laying anybody off. We may end up hiring more people. And we ended up hiring 2 more employees during this, because we've been so busy. So we're very fortunate, but we all know, because it's affected us in various ways. Like Anthony's wife, she's been home for 6 weeks.
Wow.
She's been working from home.
She's been home for a while. Yeah.
So, and my wife's been home with the kids and having to do online school and all that stuff. So for all of us, we've all experienced in some way or another, whether or not we've, financially had to deal with it or not. But it's a very scary time for a lot of shops. And I, in the detail industry, have tried to be as, helpful as I can with others and ideas and what you can do with your customers and how to talk to them and how to let them know you're still working, you're doing stuff in that sense. Or hey, if you're home, here's a quick thing you can do, which I thought was really neat with some of the stuff you were sharing as well. So but yeah, no, I just that was most of it. I just wanted to see how, what you've seen from all the people that you've talked to and how people are kind of handling it, and then you're using some new stuff too, or old stuff that wasn't popular but now is.
Yeah, but I think, we're actually starting, the Rap Institute is opening a whole training facility in Munich right now. So we were like fully into that when the coronavirus hit, and it's a beautiful facility, and you guys are going to help us with some of the rags over there, which is cool. And, but it's just, it's surreal in the sense that, like I was supposed to go over there today. I was supposed to be in Munich. And Germany set a rule that if I go to Germany right now, I get quarantined for 14 days. So it's just like, yeah, it's pretty creepy. I mean, it's just creepy. I mean, you guys, can you imagine driving from your house and thinking like, okay, if I don't make it there, I'm going to not see my family for 2 weeks.
Yeah, they throw you in a tent with a fumigator and hang out for a while.
Because how long's the drive from Amsterdam to Munich?
Well, I was going to fly, which is an hour, but then the drive is 9 hours. So
So Boise to Vegas, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, which is not a fun drive.
No, it's not. We'll say Boise to Seattle. A much more beautiful drive. Boise to Seattle.
That's true.
There's at least some turns.
Yeah. Where is it at in Justin? Where is it at in Munich that you guys are building a facility?
It's just outside of Munich. There's a great installer in Germany named Rainer Lortz, and he's been making videos for the Rap Institute for the last year and a half. Giant black beard, maybe the second or third best beard in the rap industry.
Oh wow!
The guy in Los Angeles, Adam Sumner, he has the best beard. in the rap
Well,
industry.
look out for Levi here. He's going to try and sell you something later.
I'm not. I just became a brand ambassador for a beard company. So
Nice.
I'll be hawking some products for them.
Yeah, don't hack this product.
No.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny. I always try to make everything into a positive during this time. So it's, for me trying to spend as much time with my family that I normally don't get. I don't have jet lag. It's been the longest time I haven't had jet lag for years, which is awesome. But even like one of my favorite movies, I think about like Blade Runner. I don't know if you guys have liked that movie, Blade Runner, but that was about to go into production, and then all of a sudden, I guess there was problems in Hollywood, and that got like stopped production for like 6 or 7 months.
Development hell.
Yeah, but basically they said that why it was such a good movie is they had that extra time to work on it that they didn't have. So this whole time during the coronavirus, I'm looking for ways of like, okay, what are my carrots right now? And I can't be traveling teaching workshops. I had a giant ISA show that got postponed. So I'm thinking, okay, I have time that I didn't have before. I'm going to make something special. And I think that's how you have to approach this moment that we have. It's this forced time that we probably weren't looking forward to in some cases. But the benefits is that you guys maybe get to build your facility a little slower and better than you maybe were hoping, which is cool.
Exactly. Yeah, we're not so rushed with that. And how many days are you on a plane? You're on a plane a lot. 200?
No. Well, no.
Okay.
Well, part of it I combined with my family. So like if I last year I went to Japan and China and they came with me and stuff like that. So I would say last year I was on the road for 6 months.
Okay.
And I probably racked
that's
up
not nothing.
No, it's not. And for those that I do all the travel like set up for us when we do it. And there are days where like Anthony has literally said, do we have to do all of this stuff? Like, you have built our schedule out. So like, I'm tired. So I look at this time as like, hey, we're not going anywhere. Like, this is nice. We're getting to be home. We're getting to hang out. We're not, because there are times where we've come back from a long jaunt, and we've hit 3 or 4 different cities and we've been on the road for a month. And
every year we add more stuff to the docket. It's just fewer and fewer off days in between.
Yeah. It goes up for sure. You get sneaky.
Yeah. So for someone like yourself, being home and not having jet lag is a huge, huge benefit.
Because you kind of just put your head, I love what I do and you guys love what you do. So you don't really, people are like, do you get jet lag? And I'm like, no, because I love teaching. I love making videos. But then you do realize, like, I've been home for a while and I haven't had jet lag. And I'm like, jet lag really does suck.
Yeah.
So you kind of, at least like I'm looking forward to this summer. I'll be in Boise because that's where I grew up and I bought my mom's house. And I'm teaching a workshop at your guys' facility at the end of July.
It's going to be sweet.
Forward to just driving down the street like you guys do. You guys are so lucky.
Oh yeah.
It
might be one of our first events looking at the way things are going. I mean,
right. That's where it's going to get to that possibly. Yeah. But no, it's we're excited about that too. But it's weird to see just how this is a turning point like 2008 was for a lot of folks, where if they weren't prepared and they weren't we were talking I was talking with like Rennie Doyle and Keith Duplessis, who are 30-year veterans. And we were all talking about it. And I was like, I noticed that and I'm pretty sure it's the same in the rap industry where, you've got the old dogs that are 20 plus years in the game that had been in the game and weathered 2008 and came out stronger. And then you got a bunch of people that changed careers and joined after 2008. And then you've got the new ones that have been in it for maybe 5+ years that were kids still when 2008 happened, and didn't really quite understand, how that kind of laid out. And so there's a lot of, it's very strange to see these different timelines of and skill levels, in the sense that like the older ones are saying, yeah, you should have been prepared. You should be ready for that. That's one of the things that you needed to, when you built your business. The 10-year, people were 10 to 12 were going, yeah, no, I had to change careers. I remember what it was like, and here's where I'm at. And then the 5-year people are like, oh crap. They either listen to the older people or they may get, weeded out.
Yeah. Is that the same in the detailing side of the industry?
Yeah, well, in the detailing, that's what it's like, where that's what we have, or
okay.
The young guns who are stressing out about it. But then there's also the young guns that are very well educated and are actually going into this. They were going to business, get their degree in business, and they use the detail industry as a reference for doing their business degree, and so they're very intelligent. And those young kids are the ones that are doing really well. They figured it out because they looked at it not as, oh, this is just the trade I do. They looked at it as like, this is my business, or this is the business I'm in, and here's how I'm going to fix that.
Well,
I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yeah, I think I think they're probably very similar people who enter the well, yeah. I mean, it's kind of same kind of mindset between rappers and detailers. I think they're actually combining more and more. Is the idea that, especially these guys who get in, I mean, sometimes if you go from making a job where you're making X amount per hour, then all of a sudden you become a rapper. Sometimes if you get a good gig, you're like, yeah, I just made $2,000 today or $3,000 today.
Right.
Like you did, but okay, let's take off some stuff like rent and your car and your payment, so people think $3,000, I made $3,000, but you don't learn, especially people who've been in the industry 5 years, they think they're making great money, but they don't do the black and white. And it's like, you didn't make $3,000 today, you made 800. And they're like,
the longer period of time between that and the next job means you made less and less as it goes on.
Exactly. And that's what I call doing the black and white. And if you don't do the black and white, you're done, so it's one of those things where we're in fun industries. Detailing is fun, wrapping cars is fun. And so people kind of approach it sometimes more like a hobby than a business. And that's what I think is affecting a lot of people right now, unfortunately, is not doing that black and white. And it's tough to do and it sucks. But if you do it, this is a fun industry to wrapping is a great industry to be in. And I think detailing is as well. It's just, you have to do that black and white. It's tough when you don't.
Yeah. So you were using, was it Hexus?
For?
You were talking about the wrap with the antimicrobial.
Yeah.
Was that, did I say that right, Hexus? Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah. So there's Hexus added material for years now with antimicrobial properties. And what I do with the Wrap Institute is not only do I teach people how to wrap, but for the major manufacturers, I make official product videos. And so I take their product bulletin and I make it into a video because no one reads a product bulletin. I mean, unless So I turn that product bulletin into a video, and customers love it. So Hexus has had this material. They wanted me to make it for a while, and then they just called me like 2 weeks ago. They're like, we have to make it now. Because basically everything you touch, like the coronavirus won't stick to, and you can stick it to door handles and walls and floors and cars, and people are wrapping the inside of cars. They're wrapping, at the end of August, I think the whole world will be wrapped with this material.
It just might. Well, so is it like, so is it more like a PPF?
No,
like an antimicrobial PPF, or just an antibacterial?
It's antibacterial. I think there's silver in the lamination. They just sent me the PDFs today. So they shipped the material to Munich. And actually Expel has antimicrobial as well. That's true PPF. So
yeah,
there's only 2 companies that I know of right now. So I would highly recommend Expel has stock. So I would.
So was this one of those materials that was originally developed for wrapping kitchen counters or doing other things, and then it found its way into automotive space, or was it something they developed specifically with this in mind?
Well, I mean, with the Wrap Institute too, I mean, I focus a lot on cars, and your guys' car is awesome, but I mean, I really do a ton of videos on walls and floors and windows and interiors. So this is a multi-purpose material that you can actually put it on a car. You can put it on anything. So you can actually put the lamination just on what you want to cover, or you can print something and then put it on top and then wrap on top as well. So you could actually customize your kitchen or hospitals and stuff like that. So again, I should be making that video right now in Munich.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah, so you could put that on there are the doors with like a big placard on it, or things, any touch points or something, that maybe a full countertop at like a convenience store, or
like doors in a hospital going from one ward to the next or something. I mean,
yeah, exactly. And that's just
the Hexus trainer in Colorado. He's based there, and he is just putting it all over restaurants right now because the restaurants are closed and they hired him to just wrap everything, all the bar stools, all the door handles, all the bathrooms, stuff like that.
It's a great
So
idea.
It's and the thing is, it's just lamination, so it's not like you have to register anything or do it's just super easy to put on for the most part. So I mean, I think we talked about earlier about it too, and maybe this is a point to touch on is, at the Serum Summit, I went out there to Atlanta and you guys were there, and I did that presentation for G-Technic where it was, it was open house and the detailers, none of the detailers had touched wraps, and it shocked me. And, but I guess if you did that to, rappers and you said, how many of you have detailed your inside of the car? None of them would raise their hand. So I think there's a good crossover point right now, especially for a lot of people sheltering in place, is learn how to wrap a hood and roof. Those are the easiest things to wrap. And if you're a detailer, that's an extra $700,000 you can add on top of your detail, which is super easy and straightforward. I would highly recommend that.
You don't need to have a paint booth to do it. So
no, seriously. I mean, that's easy money. I mean, if I was moving back to America now and I was in Boise, I would have a company out of my garage and be called Hood and Roofs.
Yeah.
He's thought about this a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things that and I said, when I started getting into playing around with it and learning about vinyl wrapping, I was pissed at myself that I didn't jump into it 10 years earlier, or just because of the money in it. And a lot of detailers have made that, and how do we add on services? How do we add on additional sales items for folks? And PPF, when PPF came out and made it a lot easier for detailers to install, then it became of just hey, getting the car polished, I'm getting it coated, or I'm getting PPF and I'm getting it coated. My old shop, my guys that opened a new shop called Lupo, my assistant manager kept hounding me. We got to get on PPF. We got to get on PPF. And I said, cool, let's do the numbers. Let's figure out what we need, what our ROI is. Let's see what we can do. Right. But he literally said, I'm going to order some film off eBay and Amazon, and I'm just going to start playing. And he was cutting vinyl and PPF for his dad's motorcycle club. And all these old guys would bring their motorcycles to like tanks and fenders and stuff. And he'd just spend the weekend on his couch, practicing and playing and figuring out how to do these curves and stuff. And then when I left to go to the rag company and sold the company, he was like, hey, I'm thinking I'm just going to go work out of my garage. My dad's agreed to loan me the money. I'm going to do this. But I was able to find another investor for him that was able to set him up and said, look, I'll pay you to go train. I'll pay you to do all this stuff. I need a PPF guy. And so he was stoked about it. They just did $1 million last year.
Wow.
In sales out of that shop.
It was a wise decision.
And he said, his words were, I need to start a detail shop now. And I said, what? And he goes, the PPF and vinyl have taken over our detail services to where he goes, we're only polishing cars to wrap them, or vinyl, do full PPF. And he's doing full cut or full bulk cut PPF. He had a Ford GT in there. XPEL didn't make a pattern for that. So it was a full hand cut, bulk cut piece. And he's like, that took us 10 days to work on it. He goes, but it was $8,000 when we were done with it. And then the guy wanted it coated on top of that. And all that. So he's like,
if you got one, why not the other?
Yeah. He goes, that car walked out and it was a $12,000 detail.
Yeah.
He's like, never. And that was 10 days of work. He goes, I never in a million years would have thought that would be, but it was because he took that time to start. He just saw it and was like, we need to do this. We need to do this. And I was like, still in the old school of like, we don't, we could, we don't need to do it. It's not that big of a deal. It'd be fun.
$350 polish is really doing a lot for me. I don't want to mix things up or anything.
Yeah. We were doing just fine with what we were doing, so I'm extremely proud of him for what he's accomplished, what he's been able to do. But it is something that a lot of detailers need to look at, and see, and a lot of installers need to see that side of detailing as well. And you and I have touted this for years. We've been talking about this back and forth, that they need to start learning from each other and helping each other out and you know, because that really unites this business more, especially we're all in automotive appearance.
I agree. And I think it's almost like even like creating partnerships. I've seen, I think some of the things that I've seen work a lot for people right now is really tapping your network and like really reaching out within your community right now and talking to people who do ceramic coatings and people and just really kind of working together and kind of tying in jobs and connecting. I think that can hack, you know, once the corona kind of goes over, is continuing those relationships. You know, like I hate the tint. I don't really like to do PPF, so I'll get some other people to do that and kind of network within your community. And I think that builds really good profits. Like I know a guy in Jersey, this guy Marcos is awesome. Just super high-end deep color changes, but he, you know, sends the wheels out to get powder coated. He gets the ceramic pro guy to come in and they coat the car and stuff like that. And it's just a nice process where he can turn these cars around in a day and a half, like full deep color changes. And that's money.
Wow.
Like he's
that's good money.
Yeah. So there's money to be had. And actually it's funny that, you know, your old guy used to work for you, start off in your garage. I did a video a couple of weeks ago where I talked about like a lot of people in the industry start off in the garage and then they get their own business and they grow up. But like right now, for a lot of people, they actually, like yourself right now, have to be in your garage. You know, so it's almost like a lot of people are kind of going back to where they started right now, and then they go back out again. I think it's a really interesting contraction and expansion that's going to happen, which is pretty cool. You know,
back to your roots.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, and you know, I look at the, you know, just the way like Anthony the other day, we were laughing because I grabbed a roll of vinyl that we had in the garage at the store and brought it home, and Anthony goes, after all this is said and done, that your little Elantra is going to come back fully wrapped in all different colors, and you're going to have a Harlequin.
Urban Elantra.
Yeah. And I was like, well, you never know. Like, but I was able to, I rewrapped the hood finally.
Nice.
But it was one of those where, you know, it's true though. You can get back, you can practice some skills. My wife and I have been learning Norwegian while we've been home. So
nice.
Just for fun, like it's, you know, but it's like, there's a lot of stuff that if, you know, Anthony, you said it best, you know, if you were in your early 20s and the government basically said you had to stay home, but your job said you could work from home, like you'd be living like
mandatory snow day.
Yeah. It's absolutely crazy to go like, what? Seriously? I get to hang out here? Like, this is awesome. Like, and our jobs are totally like, I'm sitting in my garage. I got my meat freezer right here to hold my phone. I'm sitting in a chair. But I got my tablet up. I can do my job that I would do anywhere in the world, but I can do it from here. And, you know, with the way technology is now, it's absolutely crazy to be able to do this stuff. So, can I
go back quickly and just figure out, like, when you chose Norwegian, did you just like open the map and just you and your wife just closed your eyes?
Yes. Yeah. No, we've
vested interest.
Vested interest in Norway. No, it's just a bucket list country for us, and so we thought it'd be fun to start learning. And so we downloaded the Duolingo app and been playing with it. And it's been a lot of fun. It's something we could do together for, you know, 5-10 minutes a night to just play on this app, and it teaches you, but each lesson's only, you know, you basically tell it how long you want to spend on it. And so it's just something fun to do, something different, something to be able to change the brain, so to speak, you know, flex some muscles. So
brain muscles.
But
good.
Yeah. So, but it's something fun we can do together, and we're, you know, we'll just sit at the counter and eat snacks and try it. So, but it's looking at like, how do we figure this stuff out? You know, what other things can we be doing as folks, you know, when we're working? Anthony and I have a ton of products we've been testing, and we've been using that time because previously we'd get stacks and stacks of products, and folks would, you know, ask us to work on stuff, and we just hadn't had time. You know, we'd be working all day, and then we'd be traveling somewhere, and then we'd come home, and, you know, next thing we know, we're like, God, we've had that guy's stuff for 2 months, and we haven't even touched it yet because we just haven't had the time to do it. And now it was nice. We had a guy send us product. Anthony and I had it, split it up, and started using it that day. Like, it was one of those things where it was like, holy cow, we can actually get some downtime with that. And so, and you know, if there's, you know, materials and products, I've been able to try a couple different types of film and be able to play with them and go, well, I really don't like that one, or man, this one's much easier to work with. And that's been fun too to see, because I want to try it. I haven't had a chance to play with certain things and see. So
well, I mean, I don't know about you guys, and maybe for your detailers out there, but like I know a lot of people in the wrap industry, like 2020 was starting out like biggest year for everyone right now. I mean, this was on paper, this was going to be our biggest year for a lot of companies, and last year was just, you know, just nonstop, super busy, like just maxed out all the time. And so, you know, for me, I think it's one of those things where I feel like all my workshops haven't been canceled; they've just been rescheduled.
Yeah,
so
postponed.
Starting in June or July, I mean, it's going to be nuts. So my whole year is going to be compacted. But even then, it's like what I'm kind of thinking is, even last year was super busy and not having time to like test those products or not having time to do that stuff. Is like right now, I think the most important time, other than just kind of chilling out with your family and connecting, is processing right now. Is really getting a smooth process where you can really, once it gets busy again, you're not overwhelmed, that you can kind of create the smooth flow. And I think that's an art. And I think you guys as a company do it really well. I mean, I've obviously watched you guys for years, but I think a lot of people, it's a good lesson to learn right now, is get your ducks in a row right now, because once they get all clear, this is a race to money. Maybe
it is.
It's
like the land grab, like the in Oklahoma back in the 1800s. Like, but no, it's one of those things where, like, you know, same with us. We had postponed all travel. Like, we got home from Serum Summit, and then we didn't have anything scheduled until end of June.
Okay.
And at the end of June was going to be the start of just boom, 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 all the way to SEMA, basically. Okay. And so for us, we were looking at this like, oh man, it's going to be a break. It's going to be nice. And then we started scheduling folks to come visit. And we started getting our visitors, and it was like, okay, maybe we did this wrong. We're getting visitors every week. We're having to, you know, wine and dine
downtime
and videos. And it was like, okay, this isn't going to work. We're going to need to like slow down. And then, you know, everybody started shutting down, and those companies were saying, hey, we're not sending our folks out. And it was like, oh, okay, we've got some breathing room. We can actually relax here. And that was, so we've kind of poised ourselves, and that was total fluke when I planned out our year.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, we're doing this and this, and then we're going to have a big break. And then it's literally, you know, foot on the gas, and we're headed, you know, we're going for it.
I knew the year was going to start to get a little weird as soon as there was that snowstorm at the Serum Summit. Everything just kind of changed right around then. So
yeah, you were very lucky to come when you did. Otherwise, you would have been with us at the racetrack, you know, worried that we weren't going to be able to get out of there. It was definitely something that was weird.
I mean,
Atlanta doesn't know.
This was the first year that with my travel schedule, because I get my whole year booked in advance. So I was like, I was in January, and I talked to the person who does my booking and myself. And we kind of sat down, and I was like, let's book the whole year. So we just booked the whole year, all the hotels, all the flights, all the stuff we had it dialed, we had it to the penny, and I just basically just canceled it all. It was just weird.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was weird. I have a lot of when I go back to delta.com, I'm going to have a lot of tickets to use. So.
Yeah. That's true. The nice thing is they said they're holding Sky Miles, so your Sky Miles are going to be able to overlap for 2021. So they're not going to cut off for all those folks that were on track, you know, to hold their statuses for the year. So
yeah, I gotta say, I don't know if you're into Delta Sky Miles, but to get Diamond, you have to get 125,000 miles, and I rolled over with 180.
Ooh!
Nice.
Wow!
Nice!
Wow!
That's either really cool or really sad.
Well,
you were
so I didn't even make it to the first tier, and mine rolled over.
Oh, nice!
And I was like, I was right there. I could have had it.
Yeah.
Anthony did. Anthony was able. He's been on all the same flights I did. He was able to roll over into silver status. And,
don't mind if I do.
When our flight got canceled in Atlanta, on our flight to Atlanta, we missed a flight, and then we couldn't get to the next. They closed the doors. We couldn't make it to the next one, so they had to reroute us, all that stuff. And when I called, they asked, because Anthony was the only one, even though I had more miles than him,
Didn't matter.
He was silver medallion status. And they were like, "Is this medallion award member Anthony Fisher talking to us?" I said, "No, it's Levi Gates, but I have more miles with him."
And they said, "Yeah, forget you. We want to talk to this guy."
Okay, can we talk to Anthony?
Yeah.
It was pretty
Well,
funny,
hey, at least we didn't have United. That would be a very different story right now. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So United has been.
It's just a nightmare. They're just not giving refunds, and they are pretty much avoiding everything at all costs. Like I have a flight booked with United, actually at the end of May, and I purchased flight insurance. I did all that stuff, and even with that, right? Basically, the insurance, the insurance that you would purchase the flight insurance through is obviously a third party company, and you can't get a hold of them no matter what you do. Send them an email. And they said that they would get back to me in 3 to 4 weeks, right? Nice. And so I sent an email to United saying, "Hey, your third party, your insurance company isn't getting back to me. What's going on?" And they said, "Hi, sorry, your flight is non-refundable, and you lose out on all of your fees associated with the flight. So we'll just we'll just credit you for your flight that you have to book within a year." Whereas Delta's, I think, is giving you 2 years or whatever it is. And so they're just really just not stepping up. And so I don't know what my plan is. I guess wait 3 to 4 weeks until I get to hear back from the travel insurance company.
That's a week before your flight.
Which is a week before my flight. So it's just like they've made it super, super difficult for this whole thing. So not a fan of United.
Yeah, the lesson here is don't use them.
Well, if it helps, if you ever get to the diamond status, one time I was flying and I landed right when my connection was taking off, about to take off. And I called the diamond desk and I said, this is when I first got diamond. And I said, I just landed. Is there any flight out to Dallas tonight? And they said, "Well, your flight is about to take off. Hold on." And they were like on pause for like 10 seconds. They came back and said, "You talk to the pilot. He'll hold the plane. Just get to the gate really quick." And I was
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, we could have used that on our way to Georgia.
But that's why
earlier this year.
That's why we're all Sky Miles members. And this year we were gonna be able to get some miles under our belts.
We watched the plane sitting at the gate that we were supposed to be on because our connection was just a little slow, and we watched it roll away. And then it came back up to the gate, let some guy in a wheelchair off, and then left. It was like,
no,
come on.
We're right here. Just we're right here. Sorry, sir. Yeah.
So I got a big question. I got a big question for you all. So if we do another Rap Institute live event at your place this summer, which I hope we do, what car are we going to wrap? Whose car?
Wrap the Civic. Yeah.
Let's wrap the Jag.
Yeah.
Or you could do that. I'm not opposed, obviously. I maybe depends on the color.
Well, I'm open.
You pick the color, dude.
Pink.
Dane, start thinking about it. The Jag would be
Dane, we can do an anime wrap for you.
I'm always big on British racing green. So if there's some kind of like color shift, dark green or something, you could do some cool.
We could do some old Jag because we could do printed vinyl too.
Ooh, yes. like some old vintage Jag racing livery. Graphics.
Yeah,
that would be
an old Jag racing livery.
Ooh, I like that.
Ooh,
like
Dane.
the old Jaguar, angry cat on it and stuff. Ooh,
I like the anime one, little Japanese anime.
Oh yeah. That's for Anthony Civic.
Oh yeah, we could do that. You could do an anime wrap.
Wait, we can't leave the M3 out of this, Morgan. Come on.
What do you mean? What do I get?
She likes her paint. She likes her paint.
I know, and that's why we'll preserve it by putting a wrap on top of it, and it could just be, something a little more vibrant.
Or we
I would probably do like a battleship or Nardo gray. I would probably be able to be talked into that.
Go like concrete gray.
Yeah. Boring.
Yeah, that's something. Well, so Justin, what is the most because I know you don't like doing PPF. What's the most complex bumper that you've done in PPF? Like, what's the most complex one you've ever done? Because the reason why I'm asking is because I on my I have an Evo 9, and it's a really strange front bumper. It's got like, you know, several different holes in it. It's got some weird access points, and it's just really complex. And I had a friend, my friend Steve, look at it, and he was just like, yeah, that's kind of a nightmare to do in PPF, you know, without like a pre-cut. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, and I'm looking at it thinking, how would you even do that bumper in PPF, let alone wrap? Like, I'm actually just kind of curious. What's the most complicated one that you've ever done?
Well, I mean, I've done a fair amount of PPF, but I went to Expel a couple of years ago, and I was there for 2 days and I think I made like 25 videos for the Wrap Institute. And while I was there, they were wrapping like a super, super high-end Ferrari, and the front bumper they wrapped in, I think, 18 pieces.
Oh wow. Okay. So it's pieced at that point. So I guess in terms of, like, in comparison from PPF to wrap, what would be the most amount of pieces that you would use a wrap on in terms of a front bumper versus something like that with PPF where you're using 18 pieces? Like, how much can you get away with wrap versus PPF in terms of pieces per area?
You can get away with, I mean, it depends on the wrap film, but I mean, it really depends on the installer's skill level. PPF is just tricky. If you think about just dynamics, PPF is urethane and is 8 mil thick. Most wrapping film, like AV Dennison, what's on the Rag Company truck, is 3.3 mil thick and is cast. So it's just different properties and different stretching points. So I would say, I don't want to get in trouble for this, but I would say vinyl, like with wrapping film, you could, like with your bumper, I could probably wrap it, depending, with, you know, 1 to 3 pieces, as opposed to, you know, PPF, that would be maybe a 10-piece job or a 12-piece job. So it's just totally different dynamics on the material and skill level of the installer and what you're willing to risk. Because the more you try to wrap it in 1 piece, the harder it is. I mean, one of my favorite rappers in the world, Jim Miller, I was teaching a workshop at his facility in Atlanta, of all places. And I had the workshop come over, and he was wrapping a portion. I said, Jim, how many pieces did you wrap this front bumper in? And I let everyone guess. And the highest number was 3. And he says, 8. You know, and people couldn't see it. So if you get really good with hiding your overlaps on the body lines and stuff like that, you can make it look like 1 piece. And I asked you, you know, so with PPF, what's nice too is it's clear. So who cares?
Well,
you know,
I was going to ask about that because you're introducing more potential failure points. I mean, depending on how an owner takes care of their car, might be exposed sooner than later. So do you kind of go into that strategically, knowing a little bit about the owner, a little bit about the car, how it's going to be used, something like that? Maybe that changes your decisions on how you approach it?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, in the workshop that I teach in America, when I do the color change class, I sell the class a car. So I say, here's a car. And when I get to the bumper, I say, okay, if you want me to wrap in 1 piece, if I have to redo it, I'm going to have to charge you. And if it fails, this is on you, because I think it's too risky to wrap in 1 piece. And I'm going to have to charge you $1,000 to redo the bumper. Or I can wrap it in multiple pieces like this, and it looks the same, but if it fails, I'll redo it myself. So you kind of give it, you know, you let the client take the risk. If they want that perfect job, they're going to have to take that risk. So
that's perfect.
Yeah. So it's kind of same approach, you know?
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. That's one of those things where it's just cars nowadays, with the ways they can mold the bodies and stuff, you get all these insane angles and flared surfaces and stuff that should look simple at a glance, and then you get up close and realize there's way more definition than you thought. But I mean, that is kind of half the fun of it, right?
Kind of, but yeah, it's a lot of those. Actually, the cars that are actually cheaper today have more complicated bumpers and stuff. They're hard. The cheaper the car sometimes is the harder car to wrap than, let's say, a Ferrari or a Corvette or something like that. It's really
interesting.
You know,
that is interesting.
What would you say that that is a result of?
I think technology has gotten better for the manufacturers, so they can make a cheap car look like it's expensive.
Try and compensate for the price tag.
Exactly. I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, the new Tesla SUV or whatever, that thing is pretty.
Oh, the little Y.
Or is it that one that just looks like it's just like basically just like a cube? Or is that the new?
Oh, the truck.
The Cybertruck.
Cybertruck.
Oh, yeah.
That is the easiest car to wrap of all time.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like it. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's like a cross between a refrigerator, a DeLorean, and a skate park. It's like you just kind of mush all those elements together, and that's what you get.
Perfect. Yeah. That was crazy. So Yeah, I'm totally down. I mean, let's try to come up with a fun car to wrap for that live event, and let's do something fun. I thought last year was great. I'd like to blow it up even more. It'd be super cool.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I'll volunteer if
I
no
think
one
it'll be a
else wants to.
Good spot. We're excited with the new space.
Yes.
Like I said, we're putting in a scissor
The new
lift,
space
so
is huge.
we'll have that.
Yeah.
We'll have we have a white room in there. We have the other space. We're gonna have tons of lighting. So it should be a pretty fun space to do a lot of stuff at. And then we're also hosting an Avery Dennison certification as well.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be a great multi-purpose facility. Yeah. And we'll be able to fit a decent number of people. Yeah.
Well, it's the amount of room too, and I think just the overall kind of, I guess, ambiance of the area too. So, because it's hard because, let's just say the white room, last year that we did, and we use that as an example. You can only look at the subject that you're looking at for so long, right? Before you're kind of like, okay, I need
to look somewhere else.
I need to walk outside, or I need to do something. And kind of the cool part about this new studio is that, you have so much space, but you also have so many different backdrops and so much, so much going on inside there, to where if you wanted to kind of take a moment to walk away, or change the backdrop, or move the car to a different area because you've wrapped it under certain lighting, but now you want to pull it under different lighting, it's all stuff that you can kind of do. And I think that the lift may or may not help with that. I'm not sure, but we still have the infinity wall in that back corner too, so we can you can do it up as you would like. And in terms of like video content too, you could film 10 different rap videos inside there.
People would assume you're at least 4 or 5 different places.
That's cool.
Yeah, and have 5 different backdrops the way it is shot, and you would never know you were in that same area. And that was kind of the goal for us, because we know that with all of our detailing content, we had 3 backdrops. We had out front in front of our warehouse, we had inside of our warehouse, and then we pretty much had the white studio. And between those 3, people get kind of sick of seeing the same thing over and over again.
Well, the driveway just had those dumpsters in the background of every shot, which really added to the production value.
Well,
people love those dumpsters.
We're gonna miss those dumpsters.
Yeah,
maybe I won't.
Honestly, we should wrap those dumpsters.
We should just put them in the building.
Make them look a little more appealing or something. Who knows? But
yeah.
Well, I mean, we could make that
for
part of the live event. We could wrap the dumpsters, let people come in.
I mean, it's our neighbors' dumpsters, but I don't think they'll care.
I don't think they would notice.
No.
No,
it's like a little baby Hollywood soundstage is what it is.
Well, I was just gonna say, it sounds like you guys are doing like it's like the Warner Brothers of Boise.
We're trying.
Pretty much. Not far from it.
Yeah, we've got a big server room with servers for footage, and then, like I said, we've got Nick, who's our new technical director, who he worked for ESPN and has worked for the local, worked for KBOI Channel 2 for a while, doing a bunch of being a technical director for them for a number of years.
Well, and I think where we went wrong there is I don't think we gave him a budget. And
that was a problem.
That was a problem. I think that by not giving him that, I think that he did take it as we are turning this into Warner Brothers, or we are turning this into another Universal.
Well, and so, he looks at the caliber of stuff he used before, and he's like, okay, I want to make sure I match that level of quality, and therefore he just goes right for it.
Yeah.
So while
we'll need to be making some videos,
filming movies.
Great idea, right before an economic
detailing videos. Yeah, and so people walk in there and they're gonna think like, "Holy crap! What kind of production are you doing here?" I'm like, "Oh, we're just shooting towel videos.
We're shooting videos for YouTube.
Yeah. We're gonna teach you how to wash your car. 3 easy steps."
Yep.
I think it's gonna pay off, because even like the limited stuff we've shot in Munich so far, we've done a couple high-end promo videos which we're branching into, and with drones and taking the car out, and it's just you can already tell it makes such a difference to the viewers. Like they get deeper into the videos. It's just more fun. You have more freedom. I think you guys are doing the right thing, which is super cool.
Oh no, long term, we know this is going to be a really solid choice. I'm super excited for it.
Well, and our goal for it is also to add this, the ability to let anybody and everybody who wants to come do videos here, to come host events here. you know, we want to be kind of a destination location for folks to be able to come learn and try things and experience things. And same thing as like what you're doing with the Rap Institute of Munich is, you know, be a place where you can come try any, you know, maybe you haven't tried a certain type of polisher. Hey, we've got every type of polisher from every manufacturer. Come learn on it. We've got, you know, just about every chemical that we carry available for folks to be able to use and try, you know, and then as well be able to provide everything that has to do with the car. You know,
and
we want to be able to bring.
Boise is cool, but convincing our friends in other much larger cities who've never been anywhere near here, you know, having this facility definitely is a nice little carrot to dangle and be like,
before all of this happened, Delta had stated they were going to start doing direct flights from Boise to Atlanta,
which is huge,
nonstop. So that opens up the whole East Coast to us, much easier. So hopefully they hold to that. They were planning on doing it in June or July. So hopefully that'll still be on the books when everything opens back up.
Hopefully.
But yeah, the ability to just have folks come, use the space, use the area. We developed it so that, you know, we took part of, when we did the 3M training with Casey, Folk, and Mully, we lent them the space, you know, they used it. And then what we provided was not only space, but, you know, tables, chairs, power cords. And then myself and Nate came, took pictures and video for them for the event. And then we produced a little video for them and sent it to 3M and said, here you go. Here's your class here's a video on your class and the skills training and stuff. And it was a knifeless class. And so, you know, when they saw that, they were like, oh my gosh, wow, that was really nice.
And you included the bill for $25,000.
Yeah, no, we didn't. That's the thing. We literally gave it to them for free. Said, no, you can use the space. You know, we just want that cross brand promotion. That's all we care about. And so you know, you know, when they were hearing that, they're like, okay, all right, yeah, sure, okay, well, we'll see what you do. Thinking it might be like a high school kid's video project. But then when they saw it, they were very impressed and like, holy crap. And one of the guys said was, now I know why Justin comes here all the time. But it was that. And once they saw it, it was like, oh, wow, okay, cool. And for us, we looked at it and said, oh, we can do this for a lot of different companies. It's just, hey, here's a space, hold a class, hold a training session. Here's something that you can do to, you know, here's a big open space for that purpose. So whether we're hosting the open house or another company just needs to use the space, it's totally available. And we built that space specifically so that anybody could come in and borrow it if needed. So
Boise, is, you know, I grew up in Boise and it was awesome. And I left when I was 17 to go to college and basically have never come back. But I mean, Boise is super special in that area. Well, I mean, it's, you know, moved to New York City, then my wife is Dutch and moved to Amsterdam, stuff like that. But, you know, bought my mom's house with the idea of moving back at some point, you know, because Boise is cool. I mean, I grew up with Curtis Steigers in New York and he moved back to Boise and, you know, there's something cool about it. And where you guys have kind of created your old battle station and stuff like that, that's a cool part of town. That was a really smart choice, you know?
Thanks. We were enjoying it.
It's become a compound over time.
Yeah.
Well, and it's fun for me. I look at it as, you know, I work literally 3/4 of a mile from my house that I grew up in. My dad grew up I bought a house right off the Hollister, and that's where I grew up. And then I started detailing at the car wash half a mile down the street from where the rag company is. So I started my detailing career half a mile from where I am now. I could almost literally see the building out through my office window. And so to be in an industry for 23 years, still be in the same city and be half a mile away from where I started, has a very strange fascination for me, I guess. It's one of those things where I'm like, I never could have predicted it.
I mean, I could have stayed in Boise my whole life. I had that personality, or I could have done what I've done with my career. So it's been really interesting to go either way, you know. So
Well, and I loved the other day you said your daughter, her 2 favorite cities, Tokyo and Boise.
Oh, what a
Seriously,
combo.
That's how cool Boise is. No, I mean,
Yeah.
it's because she's one thing. My wife has been traveling her whole life, so it's kind of comes natural to us. And so my daughter's been traveling since she was really young and got to a lot of cool places. And there's something about Boise. I mean, with this whole coronavirus thing, we split summers between Thailand and Boise because her family's Thai. And my daughter the whole time is just like, we're going to Boise for the summer, right? We're going to Boise. And she wants to, there's Trader Joe's, there's Blue Cow. She needs to go to Blue Cow to get her yogurt.
Blue Cow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, Boise Library, the Greenbelt, so she's got her list that she has to get to. The Boise Fry.
Oh yeah.
Loves Boise Fry. So
yeah, Boise Fry Company. Yeah.
Chipotle is very important for her. So
yeah.
You guys take all that stuff for granted, but Trader Joe's and Chipotle are big things for an Amsterdam kid. So.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Yeah. The only problem is my mom sold her wood car. I don't know if anyone out there on this definitely check out.
We haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I thought I'd seen it around, but maybe that was a while back.
A local Boise guy bought it, but I don't personally own the wood car. But that was classic.
Well, okay. So for those who don't know, maybe explain. It's not actually made of wood.
It was a Subaru Impreza wagon.
Yep.
That Justin had completely wrapped in wood paneling.
Yeah.
But
that was your mom's car?
Vinyl wrap. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Coolest mom in the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, because I grew up in 1977. My parents bought a brand new 1977 Buick Estate station wagon, yellow, with a fake wood paneling on the side. So I just thought how cool it'd be to have just a whole car that's entirely wood. So when I was in New York, I wrapped my car wood, and I just remember people coming up and touching it and thinking like I was driving a wood car. I was like, no, I'm not driving a wood car. I don't think that's allowed. But there's something about a wood car. Maybe we should wrap a wood car for you guys this summer.
Oh man,
that could work. We could do that, Morgan.
Oh yeah, Morgan.
Everyone put your finger in it. Person gets it.
Nose goes.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the expedition. It could be like a log cabin.
Oh, we could do the expedition.
I'm telling you, there's something magic. I wrapped a plane in wood, and it was dope. So
yeah,
nice.
I bet that would be pretty dope to see. I know a lot of people would like that. But.
Yeah.
That's cool.
No, we could there's a lot of I think that's what I like the most. And I went to school for graphic design, and so for me it was the thing that I started doing vinyl signs, and when I was like 21, I worked for a company and just did signs, and banners and things like that. And I started doing just side stripes and stuff on cars for a dealership, and I loved doing that. I didn't like where I worked because I was upstairs in this shop. It wasn't air conditioned, so where I had to work was 85 degrees, 90 degrees every day, and I'd be in there weeding vinyl, just sweating like crazy. But I always liked being able to go downstairs and actually put it on the car, and that was. But I think for me, it was just like I loved that aspect of it. But then other stuff just happened, and I fell away from that part of it and just got heavy into detailing or back into detailing. And so I think my thing was like, man, there was the creativity, there was the, that was the fun artistic aspect that I liked about it that I missed.
Yeah.
And so being able to jump back into it is that's what I love about it, is that the ability to be able to change a color if you want to, or make it wood, or make it brushed aluminum, or make it brushed steel or carbon, or all these different elements that you can't really do and you couldn't do with paint. This is simple, easy, fast, and you could change it, every day if you wanted to.
It's dramatic, but you can retain the resale value when you take it all off.
That too, yeah.
Sure. And also, kind of what we've been doing at SEMA the last few years, since 2016, we did Gas Monkey's car in the Avery Dennison booth, and then we did a C10 truck, and then we did 2 Camaros, one old and one new. And what we tried to do at SEMA was just, we pushed the boundaries. I was working with great installers, John Duver, Jim Miller, Chad Parrish, and we wrapped the cars 3 times a day, start to finish. And Joffrey von der Yak, he's from the Netherlands, he came up with these crazy sick designs. And if you would have seen what we did in an hour and a half, it would just blow your minds. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And I mean, that is what's awesome about wraps, is that magic, you know, and that's why, you know, you guys, first time we did the podcast with you guys, we talked about PPF a little bit. And I mean, PPF is cool. There's money in PPF, and you know, he made $1 million and cool. And $1 million is cool. That's fine. But, you know, I think with wraps, I mean, with PPF, when you get done, if you did a really good
Still
job.
the same car.
Right. And I love the color change aspect of the fact that you can, like your car behind you, what color was that before? Who knows? Who cares?
Pewter.
You know what I'm saying?
It was a pewter Suburban for a number of years because it was Dane's family Suburban.
It was
Dane grew
the
up with it,
blandest
looking
of the bland colors.
same
Yes.
color for 20 years, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And this Easter, I had this as my backdrop when I was doing a Zoom family Easter, and my cousin in Florida was talking about bourbon. And I said, yeah, this is my favorite bourbon. And we all started laughing. He was like, holy crap, could you have picked a brighter color, a more vivid color for that thing? And I said, yeah, I actually could have. That's the crazy thing. Like, we could have made that thing very loud, but we did it very subtle.
Yeah.
And in real life, it's very subtle, but it's because I love the color change and I love the way it looks. And in some lights, it's a very, very dark blue, almost black. And the rag company turns to almost a purple or dark purple. So it's fun. And then other times you walk by and it's just screaming. The rag company is in bright yellow and the truck is almost it has some turquoise metal flake. And it's just so bright in the sun. And I love that it changes. And I love that, you know, the rag company changes different colors. So it's almost like I get that extra, but I just really enjoy it. It's fun, and that's what I think is the coolest thing, to the point that my son has asked me to wrap multiple things in the Power Wheel. He's got a little go-kart that we're going to wrap with some Rising Sun that I have left over. You know, and it's fun to see my 5-year-old getting excited about it, going like, oh, hold on, can we put this on? Basically, can we put a sticker on here? So
well, that's what I mean. I've done it like last year. I did my daughter was at school and did it last year at her kind of elementary school, and her teacher was pretty cool. So I let the kids design their own desks, like with their own artwork, and then I went in and I let them wrap their own desks, and it was crazy, like how excited the kids got, you know. So I love that when you get kids involved in that factor and that excitement, you know, and the kids really get it, you know. Like even across the street this weekend before we were leaving we went away for this weekend. And the kid came over and he's like, is your car wrapped, sir? And I was like, yes, it is. And he's like, could I wrap something? I said, well, do you have a car? And he's like, my parents don't have a car because, you know, live in Amsterdam. I said, but do you have a toy car? And he's like, I do. And I said, well, I'm going to give you some material and some scissors. I'm not going to give you a knife. And you're going to wrap your own cars. And he was just like, oh, super excited. Yeah. So, but the thing is, I mean, I don't know if detailers get this kind of excitement, but you know, I've been wrapping, I'm 47, I've been wrapping for a long time. Like even when I wrap that coffee maker, I get done and I get that kind of childlike excitement of just kind of, you wrap something, it was cool. It's like, I did that. It was awesome. So, I mean, maybe when you're a detailer, when you get done detailing a car, do you have that same feel? Like,
so for me, it's instant. Yeah. It's that instant gratification. I take something that wasn't very good and then I made it better. Like that's kind of how I see that progression. Sure. So if I have a lot of texture in paint, and I sand it and I compound it and I polish it and I get it to almost mirror-like, to where the reflection is as crystal clear as humanly possibly can be, that's when I get excited. Or like I used to have a little S10 pickup that I had, and it was the previous owner had spray painted the whole truck, painted it with spray paint, but they had rattle canned it and cleared it with rattle can. And I spent a weekend and I wet sanded that whole truck down and buffed and polished it all the way back up and made a $200 rattle can job look like an actual normal decent paint job, to where people are like, damn, that looks pretty good. That's what I see it as a challenge, and I like that. And I know that's how Anthony is. That little that Civic behind him, you know, he paid $1,200 for that thing. Anthony, you need to unmute yourself.
He's got himself mute. There he goes. Maybe.
But how funny! I've literally been saying like yes, and I agree, and totally.
Nobody heard you.
You guys haven't heard any of that.
Nope.
So, no, sorry. my AirPod died on the one side, so I'm charging that one and keeping this one in. But basically, yeah, I paid $1,500 for mine, and I spray painted a fender by myself, and I spray painted bits on it. I kind of messed up on the door, but other than that, it's just having a clean car is just super satisfying. And then taking something that you know is rough or wasn't worth a whole lot of money, but then like, you know, being able to polish a turret essentially and get it to where, you know, the perception is much different. People are like, wow, you know, that's super clean. Was that a respray? You know, did you repaint it? And I'm like, no, I just, you know, I got lucky with, you know, that there was no issues with the paint, you know, other than scratches and dents and stuff. But other than that, there's no clear coat failure. So I was able to kind of take what I had and really make that better. And the perception is huge. People think that it's, you know, it's much nicer than it is. But I tell people it's a 10-footer for sure. You know, don't get too close because you might start seeing things that you don't like.
I get that. But I mean, that all kind of brings us back to like what I talked about at the beginning was that joy factor, that passion for what we do.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And I think for right now, like the video that I put out for Avery Dennison today, you know, the most successful shops that I know of, the owners keep that passion and they integrate it in their business, and it goes through all their employees and everything they do. Like great company in Melbourne, Nick from Exotic Graphics, you guys should definitely check what out he does. He does these super cool wraps. We did a cool video this November. I don't know if you guys saw it, the Wrap Life, where he picked me up in a helicopter from Melbourne and flew me into his place.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Oh, dude, you should watch this. It's called the Wrap. It's called the Wrap Life. And we wrapped 2 of the coolest cars and went to the beach afterwards. And we had an entourage of like 35 cars going down the road with drones and stuff like that. It was awesome. And to be picked up in a helicopter was just magic, you know?
Yeah.
So that was super cool. And there's the guy in Miami, Bruno from Metro Wraps. I just did a Wrap Insitute live event at his place in February. And he wraps a ton of art cars, but he also does all the stuff for the Miami Heat and the Dolphins. And it's just like, it's really cool when you get those companies that, you know, what we do is fun, but if you can maintain that passion while running a business, that's pretty cool. And I think you guys do that at the Rad Company really well, you know?
Thanks, man. We try. And like I said, that's what we try and explain to other folks, regardless of whether you're a detailer or a wrapper or any of that. It's just like, you know, I looked at it as when I was a detailer and I was managing other people's shops, it was a job. It was a 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 job. I'd show in, I'd work, I'd leave. I was good at what I did and I educated myself on what I needed to be doing, but I liked the work. I didn't like the job of it. Like the work was easy. The work I could do all day long with my eyes closed and have no complaints, no problems. It was when I opened my own shop and instantly it was like, oh, I'm responsible now. Like I'm not responsible of employees, but now I'm responsible for, you know, because I would train employees and I would try and keep the business running, and I was only accountable to my boss. But when I opened my own shop, I was accountable to my wife, to my kids, and then to myself. And so it was like, oh, I have to really make a go of it. Like I really have to find this and do this the way I want to. And that's when, you know, my wife was like, can you use safer chemicals? Do you need to use the chemicals that your boss used to buy just because that's what you know? And I said, well, no. She goes, well, then find something better, you know, use that, learn that. And that's when I started, you know, digging through SDS sheets and playing and trying different chemicals and interviewing people to figure out, because I just needed to learn. Sure. And same with running the business and like how much, you know, who can I talk to that, you know, in this industry that does similar or has been in a similar situation. That's how I started meeting people and you know, kind of as people joke as the mayor of detail. I'm like, I'm pretty good at meeting people and walking right up to them and introducing myself. And sure. Dane can attest to that. Like,
oh yeah.
But it was because of, all of a sudden it became a passion. All
sure.
of a sudden, because I was educating myself, because I was trying to make, you know, I wanted to find out, I wanted to get all the knowledge I possibly could. And that's where, you know, that's where all that came from. But now that's how I do everything. Like, sure. You know, when we're doing stuff like this or, you know, getting into vinyl, it's like I'm doing everything I can to try and learn and take in as much of that knowledge as possible, just because it's good, it's fun.
it's nice to be kind of forced to be out of your comfort zone. And I think right now with people with Corona right now, I think a lot of people are outside their comfort zone, or inside their comfort zone, like you guys at your house. At your house. But
Yeah.
you know, I think right now it's really kind of making people kind of uncomfortable in their own skin, and I think it's a good thing, because I think it's gonna make you kind of really jump and maybe do, you know, become yourself that you weren't able to do that before in a weird way.
Yeah. Yep. I think so. I think that's a great.
That's a great point to leave on, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
So,
no, couldn't have said it
Justin, where can people find you?
They can find me in Amsterdam. I'm going to be here for the next 6 months.
Hey, don't laugh. We got fans in Amsterdam, I think.
They can find therapinsitute.com is where you can find all of my streaming videos. I teach workshops throughout the world, Japan and Australia, and mainly in North America. If they're in Boise this summer in July, definitely come by into the event. I hope we can pull one off. So just definitely check me out on the Rap Institute. I'm putting out new videos every day. And I'm going to be at sign shows. I'm going to be at SEMA. It's going to be awesome. So definitely check me out there. So it's feel free to reach out.
You can follow him on Instagram as well. Your Instagram, the Rap Institute, and Justin Pate.
Yep.
Is that right? Yep. So check out all those as well. So Dane.
All right. So that pretty much wraps us up here. Thank you so much for coming along, Justin. We really appreciate having you on here. It's been a really great chat. And I think we covered some territory with, you know, we haven't talked about with anybody else. It's just always an interesting perspective with you. So really look forward to that every time we do it. But guys, absolutely go check him out. I'll include links in the description below for our video here on the Rad Company Podcast YouTube channel. And as far as the rest of it goes, this is just us saying adios. Thanks.
See ya.
See ya.